Welcome to Marketing Minds, the podcast where we bring you real world strategies, challenges, and trends straight from marketing professionals and business leaders who are making an impact. In just 15 minutes, you'll gain practical takeaways and inspiration to really grow your own marketing efforts. I'm your host, Dallin Need, and today we're talking with Andrew Hathaway. Now, Andrew's mission is all about helping small business owners and financial advisors achieve true freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, and even spiritual freedom. After experiencing firsthand the overwhelming stress of entrepreneurship, Andrew discovered how AI and virtual assistants can help business owners reclaim their time and focus on what truly matters. So today, he's sharing how you can do the same. So let's jump in. Andrew, so good to have you on.
What's up? Good to be here. I'm so happy to be on this podcast, man. You guys rock.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, this is called Marketing Minds, right? So we want to get into your mind, Andrew. But to do that, give us a quick intro. Like, who are you? Tell us about your company a little bit.
Yeah, so my name is Andrew Hathaway, and let's see where to begin. So I own a company called Virtual Assist. My vision for Virtual Assist is to become a one-stop shop for small business owners. At the moment, I kind of see it as like our Trojan horse. Like our Trojan horse is virtual assistant staffing. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to help small business owners, financial advisors, medium business owners, honestly, like large business owners, anybody that owns a business, help them with finding virtual assistants overseas. Typically what we find is about $5 an hour is a really, really good job. Right now we're doing a lot of it in the Philippines. And a few years ago in my financial planning practice, I started hiring VAs in the Philippines, and it was an absolute freaking game changer for me. Could not believe the quality I got, the responsiveness, the work ethic. So that's kind of the primary thing we do. And it all kind of just long and short came out of a mental breakdown I had in a previous business I had started. I felt trapped. I had built a company that I basically was a prisoner of. And so my vision and mission is to help business owners find freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, spiritual freedom, relational freedom, any type of freedom. And when I find someone not living in freedom, I might body slam them. I'll figure out a way to help them get there.
Man, I love it. You know, we've been connected for several months now, I would say. And one thing that really resonated with me is obviously the message of freedom. But also of this, like, I'm a business owner as well. And I find like massive headaches when dealing with hiring like stateside or international assistants and freelancers, because the skill level, the onboarding process, just everything is all over the place. Like sometimes it feels like you pay for what if you pay too low, you kind of get that lower skill output. And so I feel like where Virtual Assist and what you're working on here really stands out, because you actually vet a lot of these service providers, right? And these virtual assistants. So that way, like, you don't go to some of these other sites and platforms and you're like, it's a free for all. I don't know what I'm going to get. I have to go through like 30 people just to find that one that I need for this one specific, assignment or hire. So that's one thing I mean, maybe you can hit on some of those pain points more, but man, I've got a long list I could walk through of what I've dealt with.
I've been thinking about this a lot, honestly, because, I used to be more involved in the placement process, but typically we get about 400 applicants for a rate, because $5 an hour is a great freaking job in the Philippines. So it's like, it basically like, hey, Dallin, I'm going to give you 8 times what you're making right now. And you'd be like, well, I don't care. Like, where do I sign up? Right. So very like, desirable job, but we really try to get it down to 2 to 3 applicants. And a lot of times, and Ali, who's my COO, and Logan as well, like we just kind of know what we're looking for. And there's these intangibles. And I'll just use an example of a guy that we did a placement for. He owns a construction company. He's like, our CRM is very, very, burdensome. It's very hard to learn. They really need to have experience in the construction industry, and they really should have experience with this tool. And I'm like, look, dude, I'll tell you right now, we get the right girl or guy in that seat, they will be in the training library for that CRM. It is going to take them 3 to 5 business days to be an absolute freaking baller in that tool. But if you hire the REM person who, because you were looking at their resume and their experience, right? And you don't get the work ethic, the drive, the capacity, then this will be a mistake. And that's the mistake I've made in hiring. I hired someone because their English was perfect, or I hired them because, what was another mistake? Oh, their resume, their background. And at the end of the day, like, what really matters is drive, work ethic, capacity. Those are 3 things that you cannot teach. And in particular, I would say most importantly, capacity. And I've noticed that with some of the VAs, like, they're just not quite as fast. They get flustered more easily. But when we find a good one, I'm almost borderline. I talked to Ali about this. Like, we just need to freaking tell the client, like, this is the one. You need to hire this one. If you hire any other one but this one, you are making a mistake. So, but you're right, man. Employee retention, finding the right employees, it's really, really challenging. And one of the things that led me to a breakdown in my previous business.
Hey, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to talk real quick about just some hot takes on what's working now in marketing. And you can even hit on Business Builder, right? Like, you're an entrepreneur. You've jumped into different businesses. You have, multiple ventures. What, in 2025, what's working now in marketing and business?
Well, so you guys have been really helpful at just pumping out content. It's apparent to me that a lot of these gurus online have realized that the important thing is consistency. And so, one of the things we're working on with my team is trying to, like, get the message to be synced up across our different platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those different platforms. But so the creation of content, and it's not just any type. I mean, for me, I know what works. What gets me to click on stuff is funny. And I really think, and we've talked about this when we had lunch, the talking head thing is, like, played out. When I'm scrolling and I see a talking head, let me tell you how, I became financially free using real estate. Or let me tell you about the 3 ways to, reduce your tax bill. Like, the talking head thing, I think it's played out. People are looking for some sort of innovative hook, something that's going to grab their attention. And so for me, it's funny. And I was like, I told your team, hey, I'm just literally just make me look stupid, whatever. As long as it gets people to stop scrolling and click on the ads or whatever it is. And if I have to embarrass myself in the process, that's fine. And I think what we're now trying to do more of is the value adding content. And I get wrapped into these videos too, where it's like, hey, let me show you step by step how you can do this thing. And I, initially when I was an FA, I was like, am I going to be giving too much away by, like, giving too much advice? And the reality is, like, I feel like you can give people the manual, but they still are going to need your help to put the thing together. Right. And so those value videos can be really powerful, where you're walking someone, hey, here's how I used ChatGPT to create a month of content. Here's the exact prompt I use. Like, those types of videos, that we're trying to get a lot better at those. But we're getting engagement with the funny stuff. And now I just think I need to get the audience more into here's the additional value. Here's the hacks, the tips, the tricks that, what makes you kind of go deep into our funnel.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, if anything, you hit the word right when you said funnel, because it's hooking people with that short form. We're doing a lot of short form stuff with you right now. And that short form is about attention. And a lot of it too is because there's an entertainment and comedy focus. It could also have a wider audience appeal, right? To kind of get people in the door a little bit, but then you guide them down the funnel with more in-depth resources or maybe education. But I love the style. Like, I'm with you. Like, and if anything, I'm a culprit to the talking head fatigue that's out there, because honestly, it's one of the easiest ways to be creating content. I can go and turn on my camera next to my desk and start recording a talking head video, and I don't have to, like, stand up. I don't have to walk around, get different shots, go out. There's so many different shots and angles and creative approaches that you're taking.
So there's nothing wrong with that, though. So, like, if I know Dallin and I trust Dallin and I'm leaning on him for advice, I'm watching his talking head videos. But until you hook me with something, I'm not doing that. So I think that's where I'm learning that as the audience. Like, hey, I know, like, and trust Andrew, or I think his content's really innovative and funny. Maybe I'll click a little bit deeper into something he has to say about time freedom or virtual assisting or AI or whatever it is. And so I don't, I agree with you. I don't think it's wrong by any means, but it's like, uh, to go back to the chat, how do you get people to come deeper in and deeper in? It's like, I think I would probably, there's a few guys in particular, I'm like, I think I would probably watch any video they put out. One of them is a guy named Dan Martell, whose book changed my life. And
He's all
he doesn't
talking head, basically.
yeah. That's all he is. But dude, that guy is a guru. He's a savant. And I will watch any video where he's talking because I really, really like what he has to say. But I had to go into his funnel. Something had to hook me first, right? So if it's funny or if it's value, like you got to get, So
Well,
we're doing it with funny.
Like funny. And for Dan, like one thing I'm with you, like I love his stuff and his message 100% resonates with both of us where he hooks us because he's great at delivering on sound bites relevant to his target audience. I'll hit on like as far as trends that I'm seeing right now that totally speak to what you're doing and testing with your hooks is I don't know if you heard of ClickUp, right?
Yeah.
That project management software.
Yeah, love their
comedy social feed is spot on, right? It's
so
like
good.
you put ClickUp up against like Asana, which I'm a fanboy of Asana. We use it. Asana or Monday.com is like ClickUp. They're not shooting with like a pro camera. They're shooting from phone. They're using their in-house spokespeople basically. But their ability to like make viral hits of talking about, HR or project management, like really corporate-y type topics, to me, from a business side and their ability to hook people in and bring them into the funnel is working so well from their comedy take.
Well, it gives them a personality, a business, which, like when I think about like Salesforce, like I don't know what their personality is, but now I know that ClickUp is lighthearted and fun. And like, I'll probably use them over Asana because I don't know what Asana is, but I know that the ClickUp guys are funny and I don't know whose tool is better, but man, those ClickUp guys get me going. So like it gives the company like an image, right? And a likability and a trust factor just implicitly because any company that would allow people to do something like that must be like a pretty cool company,
And that's the thing too. It creates that relatability and it hooks people with the entertainment, but also like there's a little dose of education to like, hey, I want to meet this person in real life. They become a mini celebrity in this TV show they're creating, right? This recurring character of these people that are like, I want to meet them in real life. Or if you were to meet them, you'd kind of like act as if they are one of those TV show actors or
then that makes me curious because I've heard like there's a coffee shop in Brooklyn. You probably know more about this than I would. That's like literally creating an entire mini series and it's going viral and generating like crazy amounts of business. So there's like other brands replicating that, but I'm like, man, where will this end? We're like recreating an entire like mini series with actors and scripts, but it's like, it's kind of brilliant, honestly, like to get people to engage with your brand and your offering. Do you know what I'm talking about with that Brooklyn coffee shop?
I'm not familiar with that one, but other examples come to mind too. Like MailChimp is an email service provider. They have a whole media company. I think of it's like Red Bull, basically, where their product is like, yay, like email marketing software, cool. But like they have all of like this whole media side of that they're producing original series and podcasts. But yeah, no, that I haven't heard of that one with the coffee shop. Is it a franchise coffee shop that's doing it?
I don't know the name of it. I don't know the name of it. Yeah, I should. Yeah, maybe I should have brought it. I don't know, but I do know there's a coffee shop in Brooklyn whose mini series has gone viral, and they're just like standing room only all the time.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I mean, with these ideas and concepts, we described a few as like anyone out there who's like, hey, like what can I do for my own business that can maybe not be super sexy to some or try something new to stand out is like, try these different angles, see what your audience resonates with. And that's one guy I love. Like, we're connected in Slack and I see, it's on a daily, our teams are just like brainstorming and sharing and it's like, it's creative, it's exciting and you're willing to execute fast on a lot of ideas.
Well, when we started, I think one of the things that was so helpful, and I knew myself well enough to know that if you don't send somebody to record me doing these things, because Kate on your team and Brendan to some extent, but Kate was sending me these ideas. And I'm like, and this is, I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome service, and just shout out to Content Supply. But basically, like scouring through TikTok and Instagram, what's trending. Okay, this is a really funny video concept. Now we're going to say, here's how you need to do this as a financial advisor or for your virtual assistant staffing business. And she was giving me these great ideas. I'm like, if they don't send someone to me to do this, to film it, it's not happening, because there's going to be a fire for me to put out. There's going to be something that always takes over. But now that we have kind of learned to flex that muscle, you were sending Luke over to film them initially. And now it's like every Tuesday in my calendar at 4:00, we're recording reels, right? And so now I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm starting to get the hang out of it. I mean, it's work, right? But don't get me wrong. But a lot of them now, it's like, it's one take. Like, oh, I know exactly, like, based on what you sent me. The first few times that we filmed, though, I was really self-conscious. It was really difficult for me to like come out of my shell. And then some of the people in here, they're just like, it's 4:00 on a Tuesday rolls around. They're half expecting me to roll out of my Freedom Police outfit for my, Freedom Police bit that I do. Because they just know that that's like, it's just what we do every single week. We're going to record these stupid reels. I'm going to look like an idiot for a little bit, and then we're going to, post them.
I love it. Well, Andrew, where can people find you, what you're up to, and connect with you?
Well, so my personal brand, Big Hat 33, every single platform, you can find me at Big Hat 33. Instagram is like what we're trying to grow, and TikTok. But our company is www.virtual-assist.co. You can click in there to learn more. I think that everyone should have a virtual assistant. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom. I just cannot see a use case where this does not fit, because for $5 an hour, $40 a day, like, you can find an absolute freaking baller to take so many things off your plate. And then what that's allowed me to do, Dallin, is so what Dan Martell talks about in his book is your production quadrant, which is where you're doing things that make you the most money and give you the most energy. And one of the things that I didn't realize in my first company that was a resource that I had, so time is obviously a resource by your energy. And when you spend time doing things that don't light you up, it drains your energy battery. And so now inside of our company, like, our vision and value is to take everything off of the small business owner's plate so that they can get into that upper right-hand production quadrant. So anyway, long-winded answer to your question, but that's where people can find me.
That's good. I love that. Well, good. Well, hey, we'll obviously share those links. Andrew, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining me for this interview and conversation with Andrew. If you're a small business owner looking to reclaim your own time and operate in your sweet spot, then make sure to connect with Andrew on LinkedIn. He's got some game-changing strategies to help you scale while working less. Before we wrap up, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Content Supply. So every business nowadays needs to think like a media company, not just act like a media company. That means consistently creating, sharing, and engaging through content, whether it's videos, podcasts, or social media. Well, Content Supply is the creative production partner that helps you grow and stand out consistently with daily content production and posting. So you're ready to take your content to the next level? Then visit www.contentsupply.com to get started. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Marketing Minds. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a fellow marketer or entrepreneur. We'll see you on the next one.